Alright, this is Uncle Jam back at it with another video. We're doing custom item textures again. We're covering armor and also the enchantment glint. We can remove this glint or change it. Last episode we covered the items, so if you want to see that, check that one out. And this is all vanilla Minecraft, just using a resource pack and Optifine. So let's get into it. Also, I didn't create these textures. These are actually from another guy, so check out the link in the description if you want to check out these textures. Here is a texture I did create, which is a ruby armor set, and as you can see, it's on the armor stand there. So basically, to obtain this, you just come into an anvil and rename ruby helmet, and you get my armor there. So that's how that works. We'll show you how to do that in this video. And also, I made some elytras, so we'll cover elytras as well in this video. And one thing I want you to note before we get into it is if you check out this texture, you can see the boots look like they're a little bit offset from the pants. And I'll explain to you why that is in the contents of this video. So let's get into the video. Alright, so let's get into it here. So I've created a guide for the armor. And as you can see, I've got all the armor pieces listed, as well as the elytra. And underneath are all the files you need in order to activate the custom texture in the game. So basically, let me explain a bit here. So as you'll see, underneath all the armor pieces, you have an icon document, and a layer document. Now, the icon is the actual icon PNG file, the image. The icon document is the text document that will enable that icon into the game. And then the layer document is the document that will enable the layer of your choice into the game. And in the center, you can see I have layer 1 and layer 2. Those are the two layers of armor that are in Minecraft, and you can apply layer 2 being underneath layer 1 when it gets rendered in the game. And so for each one of the armor pieces, you can choose which layer you want it to display. So I'll explain when I show you all the images. Alright, so I'll show you now where to find all the textures. So let's head into your resource pack folder. If you don't know how to get here, check out episode 1 in my series. We'll head into assets, into Minecraft, and we will head into textures. Now to find all the icons, we want to head into items. And we will find, there's the elytra there, so we'll grab that guy. And we need to find a set of armor. So I'm going to do diamond just because I like diamond. And we will copy all of these. And paste them there. And now I'll show you where to find the layer images. So we'll back into textures. We'll head into models, head into armor, and you'll see a bunch of armor layer textures. These are the actual armor that goes on your body. Now you can grab any one of these if you want. You'll notice there's 2 layers for every set of armor. Except for leather, there's actually 4 leather documents. You have leather layer 1 overlay, leather layer 1, leather layer 2 overlay, and leather layer 2. Basically, what the game does is everything in leather layer 1 and leather layer 2 gets dyed to the color of dye that you apply in game. And on leather overlay, on the overlays, those will stay whatever color you specify them. So if you're making a leather armor set, be sure to keep that in mind. If you want something not to change color, put it in the overlay PNG. So I'm just going to grab diamond again. And to get the elytra, we're just going to back out here. And it's in entity, and it's called elytra.png. And it's the same name as the icon, so we're just going to say keep both, and it will change it to elytra too. Now you need to edit all of these textures to customize them all. And if you don't know how to edit some of these more complex layer documents, I've created a couple templates, but you can find templates online. Maybe I'll link my templates below on how to edit these textures. Okay, so I'm just finishing up editing my last texture here. I just thought I'd show you how to export it. So this is my elytra icon. So just head over to export from your image editing software. Make sure you change the format to PNG. and change the name to whatever you want. Make sure there's no capitals or spaces. So I'm going to change this to Mud Elytra Icon. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, I finished my armor set here. I've got all my, I decided to make a mud armor set. So we have all of our different textures here. Now you can name them anything you want. Just make sure not to put any spaces or capital letters in these names, just for ease of use here. And I tried to keep it from getting confusing, so I tried to keep everything with their name. So now we need to install these into our resource pack. So let's head back into our resource pack folder. Now we're going to head into assets, head into Minecraft, and we're going to head into a folder called MC Patcher. Now if you don't have this folder inside of your Minecraft, which you may not, you may need to create this folder. So create a folder called MC Patcher, no capitals or spaces, head inside, and we need another new folder called CIT, which stands for Custom Item Textures. And we will head inside there. And now you can add your icons directly into here, or you can create subfolders. You can create as many subfolders as you want, and the game will still recognize as long as it's within this CIT folder. So I'm going to create a new subfolder called Armor. And we'll head inside, and I'm going to drop my images right in here. Now we'll clean those up. And there you go. Now all we need is a bunch of documents which will enable these textures. As you can see from my guide on the side, we need basically 2 documents for every single piece of armor. So let me get into explaining how that works. So to start off, you're going to want to open your text editing software. On Mac, I'm using TextEdit. On Windows, you can use Notepad or anything like that. Now you're going to want to make sure it's a plain text format. And if you're on a Mac, make sure you change the encoding, just like so. Head into Preferences to Western Windows Latin 1 down here. And that will ensure everything goes correctly. Now we need to add in some info into this document here. So I'm just going to pull it to the side and rearrange this so you can hopefully see all my windows, and I'm going to pull another image onto the screen. Now this is from the last video, so if you haven't seen that video, I'd suggest checking that out. We'll go in depth on this image. I'm just going to cover some of the basics in this one to get you going. If you want to see a full tutorial on that, check out the last episode of the custom item textures. So we're going to start off with type. Now in this video, we're covering the type of armor and enchantment, but we're also going to touch on the item one. But to start off, we're going to do armor. Now, the armor parameter for type is when you're dealing with the layers. So the layers, if I head down here, are Mud Layer 1, Mud Layer 2, and Mud Elytra. So when you want to enable these images, you need to use the armor type. So if you see in my armor guide, on all of the documents that are layer document, under each one, which will be pointing towards the layers, you need to use the type armor. So we're going to do armor, and we'll start with the helmet. So then we're now going to go down and we're going to type items. And now we need to find the item ID of the helmet. The best way to do that is to head into the game, and I'll show you how to do that. So here we are back in the game. You're going to want to push F3 and H to enable the advanced tooltips, and just highlight over the item in question. The diamond helmet has the ID of 310. The chest plate 311, 312, 313, and 443. It's just to the right of the name there. So now we can head back into our document. So if we're going to want to do the helmet, we're going to want to type 310. And now we need to add in our texture parameter. So we're going to type texture equals. Now here, you'll notice the other option, which is texture.demo1 equals demo2. When we're doing the layers, we want to make sure we use this option. So we're going to say texture dot, and since we're turning our mud armor into a diamond helmet, we're going to want to do diamond layer 1, which was that texture we grabbed earlier, is going to be replaced with mud layer 1. So let me explain what this is doing. The game is going to take the texture of diamond layer 1, which was that diamond texture that looked similar to this layer here, and it's going to replace it with this one. And now the reason I'm doing layer 1, as you can see from my guide, you can pick layer 1 or 2, is because I have my helmet drawn in layer 1. And like I said before, layer 1 displays on top of layer 2. So if I wanted my helmet to look a bit more set back, I could draw it into layer 2 and then do texture diamond layer 2 equals mud layer 2. So that's how that would work. Now, we're going to finish up here, and I'm going to add in an NBT parameter, which you can check the last video if you want to see how to do these NBT parameters. So there we go. My document here for the mud helmet, the layer document is done. So we can now save our document. So we're going to head over to save, and we're going to want to make sure we change the encoding to Western Windows Latin 1. Make sure this box is unchecked. We don't want to use it to be a text document. And now we want to name it something so we can keep track of it. So I'm going to name it mud helmet layer. And then you want to make sure it's a .properties file. Really important. And we're going to save it. And there it is on my desktop. I'm going to install it into my folder here, and we'll head in game and see if it worked. So I've installed my pack in the game. I'm going to reload my pack. And my parameter I set was if I named this mud helmet, it will display the texture. So we're going to type mud helmet. Now you'll notice the icon didn't change, and that's because we haven't actually enabled the icon. And now if we head over here to this armor stand, you'll see the layer is now the mud helmet. It worked. So that's how that works. Now we need to enable these icons as well as enable all of these other armor pieces. Now I am going to kind of jump through it, but I will show you some of the differences between them because it will take a while if I show you every single text document. So let's create a text document for one of the icons just so you can see how the icons are made. So we're going to open up a new text document again. Once again, plain text. Make sure your encoding's all set correct. And we're going to type. Now for the icons, the type is going to be item. So make sure you type item. And items is once again your item ID, which if we do the helmet again, it's going to be 310. And under texture, this time you don't have to do the demo1 equals demo2. You can just do texture equals and then just type mud helmet. And then now we want to hit save and make sure our encoding is Western Windows 1. And you can name it anything you want. Mud helmet icon. Once again, no capitals or spaces. .properties. Make sure you spell that right, and we will hit save. And I'm going to add my NBT parameter again. There we go. And we will pop it in here. Head in game. Reload the pack, and we should see our icon change. And there we go. You see now it looks like my mud helmet texture. So the chest plate and the boots are going to be the exact same for me. And the pants are going to be different because the pants are actually drawn onto layer 2. So basically you're just going to change the layer 2 to layer 2. So I'm going to show you how to do that really quick. Okay, so here I am in my leggings layer properties. So we have the type as armor, our item ID of the diamond leggings, and the texture is going to be diamond layer 2 is going to equal mud layer 2. So the reason for that is because, as you can see, once again, I have my leggings drawn on layer 2. This is the most common setup for armor. And so if you're making an armor, I would recommend doing the leggings on layer 2. It will probably make it the most problem-free, but if you want to experiment with putting your stuff on different layers, you can go ahead. There's no limitations on that. Just make sure you set up your text documents correctly. So we have diamond layer 2 equals mud layer 2. And I'll add my NBT parameter. So as you can see, I have all of my documents for the armor. I haven't done the Elytra yet, but for the armor is all set up. I have my mud helmet image. I have all my images, and I have mud helmet layer, mud helmet icon. 2 documents. Mud leggings icon, mud leggings layer. Mud chestplate icon, chestplate layer, boots icon, and boots layer. So you want to make sure you have all of those documents set up for your armor set to work. So let's head back into the game and see if I've done everything correctly. So here we are back in game. I'm going to reload my pack. Now let's head over to the anvil. And we want to rename this to mud chest plate. There we go. And as you can see, all the icons worked. And there we go, all the layers worked. So as you can see, I've done everything correctly here for my documents. So that's how you do the armor. Now let's do the Elytra, and then we'll cover the enchantment glint really quickly. Okay, so for the Elytra, the icon is going to be the same format as all the other icon documents, which is just an item format with the item ID, and then the texture equals whatever your name is. And now for the actual Elytra layer texture, we're going to need to do a new type, which I actually didn't add on my image. It's the Elytra. It's a new type added in. So maybe I will try to add that in on my image, or maybe not. You're just going to have to know. Type Elytra. It's only for Elytras. The items, you want the item ID of an Elytra, which is 443. And the texture, you're just going to say is whatever your name is of your Elytra texture. So mine in this case is mud Elytra. So mud Elytra. There we go. And I'll add my NBT parameter. There we go. So the only difference there is the type is Elytra. So we'll save it. And we'll install it in our pack. And as you can see, I've already done the icon. So maybe we'll have a quick look at that if you want to see. There you go. So let's head in game and reload and see if it worked. Here we are back in game. Reload our texture pack. Head over to our anvil. And we will name this Mud Elytra. And you'll see right away the texture changed. Now we need to put it on an armor stand. And there we go. You can see it's the Mud Elytra texture. So that's how you make those custom Elytras. Now we'll go over the enchantment glint. That's it for armor. Okay, so for the glint texture, what we're going to do is we're going to head into assets folder. First, we're going to locate the texture into Minecraft, head into textures, and we're going to head into misc. And you'll see we have enchanted item glint. Now this is the document you want to edit, so I'm going to open it up with my image editing software. And I think the easiest demonstration would just be to have no glint whatsoever. So I'm just going to keep the dimensions the same, and we're just going to go like that. And now I'm going to export it. Once again, PNG file. And I'm going to call it no glint. There we go. And we'll export that. So there it is. We will quit Pixelmator. And now we need to install this into our resource pack. So I'm going to back out here. And I'm going to back into my MC Patcher folder. Now you can specify which enchantments you want to have no glint. So we're going to head back into CIT. And you can just put it right in here or create a new folder to keep yourself organized. So I'm going to make a new folder and we'll head into here and just drop our texture in. Now, as you can imagine, we need another text file. So I'm going to open up textedit, make it a plain text, change the encoding, everything like that. And now our type is enchantment. And as you can see on my image, I have it highlighted in red. And that's because there's actually an exception to the rule with the always required. For this parameter, you don't actually need the items. All you need is texture. So you can skip the items. and that our texture is called no glint. That's going to be the texture of your new glint. Now you could customize your glint as well. I'm just doing no glint here just for demo. And now you can add in some optional parameters. I'd suggest checking out that last video to get a good understanding of what all the parameters do. So let's say I wanted to take it off for a certain enchantment, such as say fire aspect. We're going to add in our Enchantment IDs parameter. And we're going to add in our Enchantment ID, which you can find on the Minecraft Wikipedia page. So now if it has fire aspect, it will display the texture no glint. That's how that will work. So let's save our document. And you can call it anything you want. Make sure it's a .properties. There we go. And make sure your encoding is set. There we go. Save that up. And we will install it in here and we'll head in game and try it out. So we're back in game. We'll reload our pack one more time. Let's grab a sword and fire aspect. And right away you can already see the enchanted book with fire aspect doesn't have the glint on it. And if we put it on our sword, you'll see this sword has fire aspect too, but there is no glint being displayed. So that's how you edit the glint file. So that basically covers everything for this video. I hope it helped you out, and we'll see you in the next one.